Eric Morecambe was a beloved comedian and entertainer whose infectious humor brought joy to millions. His sudden death in 1984 shocked and saddened fans everywhere, leaving many wondering what could have caused such a tragic loss. For the past 4 decades, there have been unknown details about his untimely passing, but his son is finally ready to reveal the truth. Join Facts First as 40 years later, Eric Morecambe's son reveals the truth about his death. On a balmy summer day in 1967, as Morecambe and Wise graced the stage in Great Yarmouth, Eric Morecambe penned a diary entry remarking on a nagging pain near his heart. Chalking it up to a persistent bout of wind, he remained largely unconcerned. Though known for his hypochondriac tendencies, Eric rarely documented health worries until after his first brush with cardiac issues. At the time, he indulged in a 60 cigarette-a-day habit and was no stranger to alcohol. Then, fate struck on November 8, 1968, when a near-fatal heart attack gripped him as he drove back to his hotel following a performance near Leeds. The comedic duo had been dazzling audiences during a week of midnight shows at Yorkshire's Variety Club. Their captivating performances in December of 1967 earned them a hefty sum. A packed schedule lay ahead, featuring a New York City nightclub appearance, the Royal Variety performance, and an 8-week pantomime stint. As the week progressed, Eric dismissed the pains in his right arm as tennis elbow or rheumatism, but the pain intensified and spread to his chest that night, rendering him incapable of driving. A fortuitous encounter with a passerby led him to a hospital where a heart attack was swiftly diagnosed. Subsequently, Eric missed a London Palladium show with Ernie Wise as he recuperated under the watchful eyes of the medical staff. In their absence, Frankie Howard and Mike Yarwood stepped in to entertain the audience. Emerging from the hospital on November 24, 1968, Eric bid farewell to his cigarette habit and embraced a pipe. He also scaled back on his professional engagements and stopped performing during the summer and winter. After a 6-month hiatus, he returned to the spotlight at the BBC Television Centre in May 1969. The duo's triumphant comeback culminated in a 4-minute standing ovation at the Bournemouth Winter Gardens, July 27th of that year. But in March 1979, Eric suffered a second heart attack, which necessitated bypass surgery in June. On a fateful evening in May 1984, Eric Morecambe took the stage at the Roses Theatre in Tewkesbury, Gloucestershire, for a charity show hosted by his close friend and fellow comedian Stan Stennett. His wife, Joan, watched from the audience as Eric delivered a performance that was described as the best of the bests. As the show drew to a close and Eric initially exited the stage, the musicians returned, instruments in hand, prompting him to rush back and join them in a spontaneous encore. He expertly played various instruments, making 6 curtain calls and delighting the audience. But as he left the stage for the final time and stepped into the wings, tragedy struck. Eric collapsed, succumbing to his 3rd heart attack in 16 years. He was pronounced dead before 3 a.m. on Monday, May 28th, in Cheltenham General Hospital. The entertainment world mourned the loss of a comedic legend, and heartfelt tributes poured in. On June 4th, a solemn funeral service took place at St. Nicholas Church in Harpenden, where Dickie Henderson delivered the principal address. Eric's ashes were returned to the church and interred in the Garden of Remembrance. His fear of being forgotten. The specter of being forgotten once haunted Eric Morecambe, the legendary comedian whose humor still echoes through the annals of entertainment. His widow Joan sheds light on her late husband's fears in a recent interview, revealing the depths of his concern for the lasting impact of his comedy. Joan divulged that Eric often confided in her, expressing his hopes that their comedic legacy would live on after his passing. Nearly 4 decades since Eric's death, the cherished Morecambe and Wise sketches continue to evoke fond memories, a testament to their timeless appeal. The knowledge that their work indoors would have undoubtedly filled Eric with immense joy. At 94 years old, Joan reminisced about her husband's words, recalling how he earnestly wished to be remembered. He would have been elated to know that he and his comedic partner, Wise, remain etched in the hearts and minds of countless fans. Gail, the couple's 67-year-old daughter, echoed her mother's sentiments, sharing a poignant memory of her father's desire for his work to have lasting significance. She recounted that Eric once implored her to watch their videos after his death, fearing that without continued appreciation, his efforts would be in vain. Eric and Joan's 32-year marriage, which endured until his death, was blessed not only with Gail, but also their sons Gary, 65, and Stephen, 52. Burdens of celebrity status. Once known as John Eric Bartholomew, Morecambe enchanted millions with his uproarious humor, along with his partner Ernie Wise. Their Christmas special of 1977 drew a staggering 27 million viewers, cementing their place in comedy history. His son Gary reflected on the burdens of celebrity status, speculating they may have hastened his father's tragic end. He believes his father was never truly prepared for the emotional toll that fame would bring. It was quite obvious to those around him, particularly his family, that Eric struggled to adapt to the vertiginous world of show business. Gary emphasized that Eric's ambitions were centered on a genuine career in entertainment rather than achieving legendary status. Though he was a hard worker, Gary thought he lacked the emotional resilience required to handle the expectations and pressures that came with his meteoric rise to fame. He even attributed that to his father's upbringing. Gary stressed Eric's upbringing failed to provide any guidance for navigating the perilous landscape of celebrity. Eric's restless disposition made him particularly vulnerable to the demands of his exceptional success. He always felt a strong obligation to embody the iconic persona that his audience had grown to love. But consequently, the burden of responsibility unnerved him. This, combined with the enormous popularity and expectations of their annual Christmas shows, is what Gary believed intensified the pressure, eventually posing a genuine risk to his father's health. As Gary reminisced about his father's upcoming 95th birthday in the Oldie magazine's 400th edition, he also spoke to the enduring legacy of Morecambe and Wise. Their timeless humor continues to captivate the hearts and minds of the nation, even decades after Eric's passing. Gary expressed his admiration for Morecambe and Wise's enduring legacy as the archetypal middle-aged comedians in suits engaging in witty and imaginative repartee that stemmed from a fictitious mutual history. The fanciful stories of their shared living experiences and escapades have become an indelible part of British entertainment heritage. As Eric Morecambe's eldest child, Gary finds it both strange and delightful that his enthusiasm and fascination for Morecambe and Wise remain undiminished even in his mid-60s. Legacy. In a heartfelt tribute to the late comedian, a bar in the Gloucestershire Theatre, where he last graced the stage, has been christened in his honor. The theatre in Sun Street has undergone numerous transformations since that fateful day in 1984. Among the most recent is the renovation of a 4-year-old bar, which has been aptly named Eric's Bar. This marks the second time the Roses has paid homage to Mr. Morecambe, who had been performing there that ill-fated night. The theatre had previously dedicated its conference room to him, dubbing it the Eric Morecambe Room. This versatile space now hosts meetings, craft activities, and rehearsals, and serves as the wardrobe for the theatre's annual pantomime. The legacy of Eric Morecambe also lives on in Harpenden, where he and his family resided from the 60s until his death. The town's public concert hall bears his name, and a captivating portrait of the beloved comic graces its foyer. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite memory of Eric Morecambe? Let us know in the comments section below.